Welcome to my $100,000 stock experiment, year 2, week 26, ending October 11th, 2019. This isn't an endorsement to purchase any stocks that I bought, nor an endorsement to purchase stocks in general. I'm on a mission to become a great growth stock investor. Watch me on my journey, learn from my mistakes, and celebrate my successes. Let's review the general market conditions. According to the IBD at investors.com, we're in an uptrend under pressure, which means it's not really the best time to be buying stocks. You should proceed cautiously. I look at this each day on investors.com. At the end of the week, though, I review the S&P 500, the Russell 2000, and the VIX. The S&P 500 index started the week above the 50-day simple moving average, fell below it, and then closed the week above it. On Friday, it had strong volume as well. The Russell 2000 started off the week below that 50-day simple moving average, but closed the week right at that point. In a healthy market, we should be seeing both the S&P 500 and the Russell 2000 above their 50-day simple moving average. The VIX, or the volatility index, closed the week at 1558, which is great. It's the first time it's been below 16 in about 2 weeks. I like to see it below 16 and ideally closer to 12. The stock market started off the week well, and I made 2 purchases. I purchased Coupa and Proofpoint on Monday. Then it didn't look so good. On Thursday, I bought CZZ Cozen, and then on Friday I bought Teradyne and New Oriental Education. I didn't have any sales this week, so I'm going to review my current holdings. This is my current holding bar chart. Each bar represents 1 week. The dashed black line is my $10,000 purchase amount. I try and buy $10,000 of each stock without going over that, and then I can compare these stocks side by side regardless of the purchase price. That solid yellow line at 9,200 is my 8% floor, so you shouldn't be seeing stocks that are below that line in my portfolio because I should have a sell at that point. You can see CDW I've held for 4 weeks, the blue bars over on the left-hand side, and Cool in the green I've owned for 2 weeks. The rest of the stocks are all new purchases that I just made in this 1 week. Proofpoint. I purchased the stock on October 7th for $131.20, indicated by that solid green line and that orange box. That intersection of those is where I purchased this stock. I had read about this stock in the IBD paper. It was in a New America article. Then my girlfriend Franca texted me on Monday, said she was looking at buying this stock. This wasn't a stock that was on my watch list, but I pulled up the chart and I liked it, and so I bought it. When I go back and review this, I'm not really in love with this chart. When I'm making my stock purchase decisions, I look at the charts in MarketSmith. So since I wasn't crazy about this 6-month chart, I wanted to go back and look at my MarketSmith chart and see what it was that drew me to this stock. It did have several cup with handle bases at 1, 2, and 3, and they were getting tighter and tighter. So I thought that was a positive sign. Number 4 is showing that blue bar next to it. That's the pivot point. So this was in a proper buy point according to investors.com and MarketSmith. And then I also look at number 5, the earnings per share rating, which was high at 97. The accumulation distribution rating, which means people are buying this stock. The composite rating is a 98, which is high. Down at 6 and 7, I look at the earnings per share changes and sales growth. Number 8, I look at the relative strength. And at number 9, I look at the range, the 52-week high-low range. I typically like that to be 2x, so if it was $76, I would have liked to see it up to 152, but it's up there. It has had nice growth this year. I also purchased Coupa on October 7th for $151.15. This stock was on my watch list, and I got a text in the morning from one of my other stock buddies, Susan, and she said she was looking at this stock. So again, I pulled up that chart and I liked it, so I bought this one as well. I had held this back in September. I had purchased it on the 5th and sold it on the 9th for a 6% loss. Plus, I had a B2 in it that I did not handle well, and I had a 14% loss in. So I'm taking another chance in this stock, and so far it looks good. I've held it for 1 week, and it's up just over 4%. CZZ. I bought this stock on Thursday for $14.96 on October 10th. I've held it for 2 days, and it's up 3%. It had a really nice strong day on Friday. Down in the volume section, you can see it had above average volume. Teradyne. I read an article in the IBD paper about this stock on September 22nd. It again was featured in this New America article section, and I liked what they had to say about it. So I purchased this stock on Friday. I've held it just the 1 day, and it's down 0.2%. Every time I purchase a stock, I put a automatic sell order in at the floor. It's typically at 8%, and then over time I'll raise that up. So this floor is at 8%, indicated by that yellow line at 56.51. EDU. I also purchased this on Friday. Again, this is a stock that I held in September. Unfortunately, I bought it and sold it on the same day for 8%. The solid green line and solid yellow line on this chart and that orange box are from my previous purchase. So you can see where I bought it before on September 27th. And then that number 1 is showing you where I bought it this week. And I bought it for slightly less than I had purchased it before. My new purchase is $113.11. And I've just held it the 1 day, and I'm down 0.3%. Symbol KOOL. I purchased this stock last week. I've held it for 2 weeks, and it's up 0.8%. It is a low price stock. It was $6.45. I still bought that $10,000 worth, but I did put my floor at 11%, down where that dotted yellow line is. The solid yellow line is the 8%. So I thought that was a good point to put my floor, and these low price stocks can also be very volatile. So I didn't want to get stopped out of this. And you can see on Wednesday, I would have been stopped out if I had my floor at 8%, because it did drop below that. It closed above it, but it did drop below it for a day or for some time during the day. The price range since I purchased this stock is $5.85 up to $6.90. So for my purchase price, I had up to a 9% loss and up to a 7% gain. So right now I'm sitting at less than 1% gain, but at some time during the week, it was up 7%. CDW, this is the stock that I've held the longest for 4.5 weeks, and it's up 1.6%. And I did feel comfortable moving my floor up to this 50-day simple moving average, where that's the diagonal red line, and then my dash yellow line is my new floor. At the end of week 26, year 2, my portfolio is up 31.5% versus the S&P 500 up 11.8%. I also like to take a look at where my increase or decrease came during the week. So I didn't have any sells, so I have a 0 change in value from stocks that I held last week and sold this week. My new purchases, I have a gain of $591 in those. And then my gain loss from my existing holdings that I held last week and still hold this week, I'm up $148. I also like to review my current gains by dollar value. That's the total dollar value gain that I have in each of my stocks or losses. And then I sort it with the losers on the top. So Proofpoint, I have an $80 loss in. And down at the bottom, Coupa, I have a $406 gain in. Then I take the weekly percentage change and also sort that with the lowest value on the top and the highest value on the bottom. The top 3, Proofpoint, EDU, and Teradyne, I've only held for 1 week, so they each have just 1 box there. But the 4th one down, Cool, I've held for 2 weeks. It was down slightly this week, but last week it had a 0.9% gain from the day that I purchased it, not from the whole week, but just from my purchase point. This is a new chart for me. Some folks have been asking what my year-to-date gain was and my overall performance was and how the indexes were changing weekly versus my experiment. On the left-hand side is the values for the S&P 500. I started off on April 13, 2018 with $100,000. And on August 11, 2019, that $100,000 would now be valued at $111,820, up 11.82%. The weekly change is just the change from one week to the next, the percentage change. The year to date, since this chart is showing 2019 dates, that's the 2019 year to date. And then my lifetime is the change since I started my experiment, so from April 13, 2018. And then on the right-hand side are the same set of values for my experiment. Down at the bottom, you can see the information for October 11th. The S&P 500 was up 0.62% from last week, but since the beginning of 2019, it's up 19.49%. And since my experiment started, it's up that 11.82%. And then over on the right-hand side, you can see my MG experiment column. So you can see my balance is 131,501. My weekly change was at 0.57, which is slightly less than the S&P 500. My year-to-date for 2019 is at 16.34%, also lower than the S&P 500. But my lifetime since I started the experiment, I'm up 31.4% versus that S&P 500 of 11.8%. Here's the industry breakdown. I use this to help me see where I have clusters of stocks that are in the same industry. In this case, I have two software stocks, Coupa and Proofpoint. All the other stocks are in different sectors. My cash balance at the end of year 2, week 26, is $60,695. So my possible actions are to sit tight if the market does not look happy, or to buy new stocks. And it looks like I could buy up to 6 new stocks. I'm not doing B2 and B3s right now because in August and September, I lost quite a bit of money on my B2 and B3s. I create a new watch list in MarketSmith each week. Then I review my previous watch lists and a few other screens and lists in MarketSmith and the IBD. And any charts that I like, I add those stocks to my new watch list. Once I have my new watch list, I look at the flagged items, which show me the carryovers from last week's. Then I unflag everything and reflag this week's stocks. By flagging the stocks on my watch list, it allows me to easily identify them when they show up on other lists. Let me show you how. I flag the items on my watch list so I can have easy visibility when I'm looking on a breakout or other lists in MarketSmith. So here I'm looking at the up on volume list. This was from Friday, I think, and I was able to sort it by those flags. So the ones that have the flag there, those are stocks that are on my watch list and they're up in volume. So I could easily go take a closer look at each of those charts and see if any of them inspired me to make a purchase. Here's my watch list from October 11th. The flagged items were on my watch list from last week as well. And then the items in yellow are stocks that I like for my husband's 401k portfolio that is more conservative than my experiment that I'm doing here. Thanks for watching. Keep an eye out for my next episode, or better yet, subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to hit the bell if you want an alert when I post a new episode.